In this video, you're going to learn how you can overcome the difficulties you face in learning phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are commonly used in informal situations and avoided in formal writings. Phrasal verbs are used in everyday spoken English. In English, the chapter of phrasal verbs is one of the most difficult topics. Let's take, for example, make out. According to Merriam-Webster, when this phrasal verb is transitive, it means to complete something, to grasp something, to conclude, to represent as being, to pretend to be true, to delineate in detail, to identify. But when it's used as an intransitive verb, it means to get along, to engage in sex. You see, it's not possible to memorize each and every meaning of all the phrases, nor is it required to be fluent in English. But as phrasal verbs make your spoken English natural, you need to learn the required phrasal verbs used in everyday conversation. And to do so, follow the prescribed methods of learning phrasal verbs here. Method 1. Read short stories, written using phrasal verbs. Reading short stories not only helps you learn phrasal verbs, but also tells you which phrasal verbs you should learn. This method helps you learn the contextual meaning of phrasal verbs, which you can immediately use in your everyday conversation. Only reading is not sufficient. You have to use another method of knowledge input. Here comes our second method. Method 2. Listen to real-life English conversations. There are many resources for listening available on the internet. Listening to native speakers will teach you phrases, phrasal verbs, pronunciation, and natural accent. Now you've learned, it's time to put into practice what you've learned. Here come our third and fourth methods. Method 3. Use the phrasal verbs in your everyday English conversation. Use the phrasal verbs while you practice speaking English with your friends. This will help the phrasal verbs stay for a long time in your mind. Similarly, you have to use the phrasal verbs you've learned in your writing. Method 4. Writing short stories using phrasal verbs in a logical order. Use the phrasal verbs in your writing in such a manner that helps you recognize the meaning when you revise your writing. This way will make the phrasal verbs your working vocabulary.